Visit the city of romance, if you're lucky. Paris, stepping the world next week.
Oh yes, you are watching Stepping the World, and this time you've got 30 seconds to guess where we are. All right, lads, let's get some shots. Okay, it has a replica of the Blackpool Tower at its very heart. It's a city with more monumental clues than a really monumentally cluey thing. Art and food are at its very foundations, and a red windmill sets the standard for high-kicking chorus girls the world over. Have you guessed mon petit chou-fleur gratin? The music's a dead giveaway, of course. It's Paris! Crew in Paris is a bit like a bunch of kids in a sweet factory. Everywhere you turn there's something to shoot, and the shots are so classically Paris that you feel you've been here before, even if you've never seen the river Seine in your life. Things have changed here, of course. Even Paris can't stop progress, but the mood never changes. The people, the visitors, the skyline, the restaurants. The pavements are positively worn out by a couple of centuries of people fulfilling their ambition to capture the atmosphere of one of the most exciting capitals in the world. Paris, and one thing that never changes is the traffic. 10 lanes of absolute traffic chaos. It is, of course, the Champs-Élysées. It's had some interesting moments in its history. Armies such as the German allies and the Germans and the allies again have marched up here in absolute triumph. But perhaps best of all, overlooking this proudly, and for risking my life we'll swap positions, behind me is the famous Arc de Triomphe. You see, everywhere you point the camera there's a postcard. And talking about traffic, let's see if what they say about the driving here is true. Even Inspector Clouseau couldn't sort this lot out. Still, I haven't hit anything yet. The music's the flight of the bumblebee, and the bee was Napoleon Bonaparte's special emblem. Now, not a lot of people know that. Ah, maintenant, the famous Notre Dame. The first stone was laid in 1163, and renovations including the cathedral's incredible gargoyles took place in the 19th century. No wonder people have been marvelling at its splendour for all this time. But perhaps even more famous is its hunchback resident. It's absolutely incredible. It's beautiful, actually. Beautiful.
It's pretty spectacular.
Spectacular is a good word. Face rings a bell. Sorry, I couldn't resist it. I've got to do a quasi joke. Can I do a quasi joke?
Yeah, go on.
Can I?
Do you have to?
Well, I could try. Quasimodo walks into this bar and he says to the barman, "Give me a whiskey." And the barman says, "Bell's all right." And Quasi says, "Mind your own business." Get it?
You probably had to be there.
Never mind. Oh well, c'est la vie. What I wouldn't give for a sound man with a sense of humour. Paris has its fair share of intermarchés, of course, but you can't beat the smells and colour of a traditional stall in the good old open air. And it's one thing the Parisians are very good at. One thing Paris is famous for are its markets. You'll find markets every day of the week. There are stamp markets, book markets, record markets. This is the market every Friday at Belleville. And I wish this was smelly vision. The aromas from this lot is fantastic. Second thought, perhaps it's just as well smelly vision hasn't caught on. Just look at those flowers, aren't they beautiful? I'm always on the lookout for a present for the mother-in-law. And I think I found some razors for a 5 o'clock shadow. There you are. All this shopping and the museums are all well and good enough for the grown-ups. But what about the children? One thing for sure is one of the most magical places in Europe is just half an hour out from the city centre. You all know where that is. And I took a trip there with my little ones just 2 weeks ago. Here's some family pics. Ah, that'll be the Mrs. Fiona and Victoria and Jordan. And that'll be me. It took a long time, but at last you don't have to cross the big pond to experience the magic of Walt Disney. Victoria, where are you going? For Brits at least, there's just 22 miles of water between us and the road to Wonderland. The temperature might be a bit different at times, but what the heck? The kids wouldn't notice a little thing like that. Neither did Mum and Dad, come to think of it. Is that good? What do you think? A budding presenter or what? The Disneyland Paris resort covers an incredible 1,500 acres. It does reflect the traditional Hollywood nostalgia as you'd expect, but there's sort of a built-in European flavour too, which no amount of work could produce in the States. Paris managed the pure blue skies that seemed to go with such a big adventure. And there were some very familiar old friends there too.
We are sailing, we are sailing across the ocean, across the sea, to be near you, to be free. I don't know the rest. I like this. It's so nice. Can I streak a funny thing?
Lunch on the River Seine cost us about £30 each for food and wine and lasted 3 hours, which was just enough for the entire team to get suitably plastered. Well, you've got to try out the local plonk, haven't you? Santé, as we say here in France. Well, I'm a great believer of doing things in style, so I've donned the blazer and booked us on a little cruise down the River Seine with lunch. It's £30 a head, but you do get a 4-course meal. And I see on the starters we have escargot. I think it's got to be done for the sake of television. What do you think? Snails?
You can have them.
Thought you'd say
You got there, Ben? I bought salmon in a pastry kind of mixture thing with, I think that's caviar or something. God, that looks disgusting. Those are snails.
Don't believe I ordered this. I don't believe I ordered this. Actually, they don't look too bad. They're done in garlic. Okay.
Garlic's right. What do they taste like?
Try one. Grab your fork. See what we do for you viewers? Put our lives at risk. You're eating a snail.
Alright.
He's eating a snail. Ben? Yeah.
Well, I say I've got my own fork.
Have you?
I only want one.
Come on, reaction.
It's just the fact that it's a snail that makes you feel sick.
So you feel sick?
They do actually make me feel ill. Not because of their taste, but because I'm thinking it's a snail I eat.
So you don't want the rest then?
No, you can have it all to yourself.
Actually, snails are more like eating wine gums in garlic butter.
Is it just me that can hear it?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. By the way, whilst Alex and I are having a sound moment, the fluffy thing isn't a poodle we picked up, it's a cover for the mic, known affectionately as Dougal. But you don't want to know that. This looks fab, doesn't it? Lamb, beef. Ben's copied, he's got lamb. We could have got something different to show the viewer, Ben. Bit of duck, bit of duck. Tell you what, I'm roasting in this greenhouse.
It's hot, isn't it?
It's good here, isn't it? Actually, this is the real Eiffel Tower. The one in Blackpool's a fake. It might look like an unfinished building, but when it was built, it was one of the man-made wonders of the world, and in my view, it still is. It's what Big Ben is to London, the Empire State is to New York, and the Horse Trough is to Ballymucky. Look at that for a view. This is just the second floor. When France celebrated the centennial of the 1789 revolution, the tower was actually built as a temporary addition to the Paris skyline. Gustave Eiffel designed it. A lot of people hated it, but no one booked a demolition company to knock it down, so the biggest Meccano set in the world still stands, all 1,051 feet of it. I spy with my little eye. Did you know on a good day the visibility here is up to 60 miles? That's very rare in Paris. Never mind, it'll be raining. The Eiffel Tower was actually the tallest building in the world until the Empire State Building was finished in 1931. You've heard of Escoffier, the Roux brothers, Delia Smith, just kidding. Well, we can't ignore the fact that creative cuisine originated in this fair city. Now cue food piece to camera. The thing I love most about Paris is the food. There are lots of different districts with something to suit everybody. Chinese, Japanese, but perhaps here is my favourite. La Rue Saint-Severin, within the bells of the famous Notre Dame, is what I call Raclette City. And if you don't know what raclette is, well, I notice there's a reflection there of Alex. Alex, what do you think? We had them here last night, didn't we?
It was nice.
It was good.
We had to cook our own food.
Well, apart from having to cook your own food, basically, if you don't know what a raclette is, it's cheese cooking on the side, and you sort of melt it all over your bread and vegetables or whatever. It's a bit like a fondue, but it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, and around the corner, there's a little Greek place. In fact, there are lots of Greek places here. Some are good, some are fantastic. The place to look for are the really, really busy ones. And the other unusual thing I found, it's the first time in Paris where we found touts literally trying to... But apart from that, you know, hey.
Good atmosphere.
Good atmosphere.
Nice.
What do you think, Ben?
It's alright.
It's all right.
Yeah.
What did you think about here last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice, but like Alex said, you have to cook your own food.
Isn't he fussy? Look, come here. Where's it? Oh, there it is. Hey, I've got it.
You like cooking your own food? No, I didn't like cooking my own food. Although my belly's getting like yours.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, well, that's your bad influence, that is. But yeah, it was nice. You know, because you get all your bits of meat and everything. You got this big bit of stone which you're supposed to cook it on.
Fondue, didn't you?
No, not the fondue, that meat thing with the turkey and the, I don't know what it was. It was nice though. It was good, but you know, a bit of hard work. But never hurt anybody though, did
What
it?
about Paris? Is it romantic for you as well?
Well, me and Alex, you know, we're just,
It's the place for us.
you know, we're just so happy here. In fact, you know,
We're going to make it our home.
we are.
Crew bonding. It's raining. I'm cold, wet and soggy. This is Paris in the rain. So what do you do on a day like this here? Well, you find yourself a museum. And believe me, there are quite a few of them. If the guidebook index is anything to go by, there are at least 200 museums and galleries in Paris. Some are big, some are small, and some are totally spectacular. The French really have a way with museums, and they use modern technology to the full. You could literally spend half a lifetime here and not see everything. This place is just enormous. This is just the West Level 1, and look at this for choice. Space, the ocean, the automobile, aeronautique, you know, aeroplanes, son, it's French for sound, images, and maths. This is the Science and Technology Museum, and would you believe it was built on what used to be a series of slaughterhouses? If you like stuffy old museums, don't come here. It's just stunning. We're talking full-size jet aircraft, the science of space travel, inner space, the oceans, all spread over 7 acres of high-tech 5-story building, and the kids just love it, especially the interactive stuff. Oi, Big Nose! Don't you call me Big Nose. The emphasis here is very much hands-on. So pleased I bought my blazer. I've always wanted to be a weather presenter and a newsreader. Well, look, this weather does sum up Paris pretty well. This is the weather in Barbados, somewhere over there. This is the weather in Paris, cloudy, rainy, cloudy, and fortunately not snowing, but it is all that. Do I get the job? Perhaps the best display for me is this look behind the scenes of our industry. Although I'm sure these young technicians are actually a lot more mature than my own team. This does it for me. This is the virtual percussion room in the sound section. This is fab. You just wave your arms around and hit drums and stuff. Watch. Somewhere there's a cymbal. Oh, this is very difficult to keep a straight face. At that point, we got drummed out of the museum and decided to go in search for a little culture. And where better than the Sacré-Cœur, another icon of the Paris skyline. As the sun sets over Paris, perhaps one of the most romantic places to head for are the grand steps, the entrance to the basilica, Sacré-Cœur. Just look at that for a view. The church rubs shoulders with the Montmartre, a mecca for artists and writers. It receives thousands of visitors daily and is one of France's most popular Roman Catholic buildings. It's also an ideal meeting place for romance and for taking the dog for a walk. Paris by night is even more colourful than the city by day, and entertaining too. Someone out there has managed to paint Paris with light, and I suppose in a city renowned for its love of art, that's not surprising. For me, it's really the night time that brings Paris to life. And if you think the monuments and the architecture and the statues look good by day, just wait till nightfall. Famous buildings are even more dramatic as the sun sets. And as Paris creates its own light, there seems a determination that the city and all its monumental treasures will be seen despite the loss of sunlight. Oh well, it's time for dinner. And a little less light. Well, apart from the odd candle, that is. Bon appétit, mes amis. In my humble opinion, Paris is a wonderful city for romance. Although, as you can imagine, with my motley crew around me, there was none of that going on. It's also a city for sheer cultural overload. But please, do bear in mind when you come here, it is seriously expensive. Oh well, that's it. That's your lot. Till the next time, goodbye.